Rhythm, can you just summarize? Yes, Rhythm.
Uh, yes, ma'am.
Hurry up, summarize it.
Ma'am, in the first two lines, the poet wants us all to count till 12, and he wants all of us to keep still and calm.
Okay.
In the next paragraph, the poet
Rhythm, just hold on. There's a lot of disturbance coming on. Just hold on. Let somebody else answer. Um Anybody who wants to summarize, please raise your
in the
hands.
next paragraph,
Rhythm, hold on, hold on. There's a lot of disturbance. Hold on. Let somebody else answer. Somebody who can just speak clearly so that everybody can understand. Khushpreet. Khushpreet. Yes, Khushpreet. Yes.
Ma'am, in the first paragraph, the poet asks everyone to count up to 12, where
Yes.
12 represents the hours of a day or the months in a year.
Yes. Very good.
He wants all of us to be calm and still, and he wants everyone to not speak their own languages,
Very
and
good.
so that everyone stay quiet and speak the language of silence, which will create unity.
Yes. Very good.
And he asks that for at least one moment, no one shall move his arms either to signal or to fight or argue with each other.
Okay. So what does without rush and without engines signify? Good Kamal. Khushpreet, you can mute yourself. Good Kamal, what does without rush and without engines signify? Yes, Good Kamal. Good Kamal, are you
Yes,
able? Yes.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The poet wants that there should be no activity in the world and there should be silence. So he says that there should be peace, and to maintain that peace, everything should be stopped.
Yes, without rush and without engines basically means no movement of any kind, and because all these rush and engine, they all add to the noise, and then later on they add to the violence in the world. So he says that if we be quiet, if we remain silent for some moments, then a kind of a universal brotherhood can be maintained in the a universal brotherhood would be maintained in the world, and that moment would be a splendid one and an exotic one. And he says sudden strangeness, alliteration he has used. And why he says that would be a strange moment? Because that moment would be the first one of its kind. It would be a novel, it would be a new moment. People would not have experienced such a moment earlier in their lives. And then he talks about fishermen in the cold sea. Fishermen, as I told you, they are symbolic of the hunters throughout the world, and man's indiscriminate exploitation of nature for his own vested, for his own selfish interests. And he says, man gathering salt. What is he here? He is talking about the entire mankind. And when they would stop for a few moments, then they would look at their hurt hands. They would be able to heal their own wounds. Okay. And then he talks about those who prepare the next stanza. I think we have done this half of it. Okay, so he says those who prepare green wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. What does he want to say in these lines? Anybody? You can just tell me the part that we've covered. Yes. Anyone? Alam, can you tell me? Alamjeet. What is Alam? Alam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Can you just explain the first 3-4 lines because we've done them? He says those
Yes,
who
ma'am.
prepare green wars. Yes. Hurry up.
Ma'am, the poet now speaks of those who wage wars against humanity and environment. Ma'am, basically war of all kinds, including that of like chemicals or poisonous gases, wars that bring death and destruction. And
Yes.
even if these wars are won by people, the destruction level is so high and there is no survival, that the victory means absolutely nothing.
Why victory means nothing? Because there are no survivors left to celebrate or that victory. Okay, it could be a victory of scientific knowledge, but no, sir. This is a paradox here. victory with no survivors is a paradox, which means that no survivors would be there to enjoy, to celebrate that victory. Okay, got it? And walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. Then again, he talks about creation of universal brotherhood. And everybody would walk about, and they would put on clean clothes. Clean clothes is, what is the poetic device used in clean clothes? Can anyone just tell me? Poetic device used in clean clothes. Anybody from the class who can tell me poetic device used in clean clothes? Yes? Anybody who can just tell poetic device used in clean clothes? Poetic device used in clean clothes? Khushi. Yes, Khushi, roll number 25 D2. Can you tell me the poetic device? Clean clothes में बेटा कौन सा है poetic device? जल्दी बोलो. Hurry up, Khushi. Which is the poetic device here? There are 5 participants who raise their hands. Asta Chauhan. Khushi, you be quiet. Asta Chauhan, just tell me the poetic device used here in clean clothes. Yes, Asta? Simile in clean clothes? No, where is simile? Where is the comparison being done here? Abhay? It is Abhay. Yes, Abhay. Abhay?
Ma'am, alliteration.
Yes,
Alliteration.
it is alliteration, repetition of the sound C in clean clothes. So what does he mean by clean clothes? He wants to say that people would have time to rethink. They would have time to think again. They would have time to have fresh approach towards life. Clean clothes means something fresh. So that is why he wants to say that they would have a fresh approach towards their life, and they would put an end to all the destructive activities. Nothing would be needed to be done. All the destructive activities would end. Okay, so this is all about this stanza. Let me ask a few questions, and then we move on to the next one. So what are fishermen symbolic of, and what would happen when fishermen do not harm whales? Hurry up, raise your hands. What are fishermen symbolic of? Harman Rana, answer. What are fishermen symbolic of? Answer fast.
Sorry, ma'am, I don't know.
You don't know? You didn't attend the class the other day, and we have repeated it today also.
Ma'am, I was late.
You were late, so try and be in time. Okay? Just
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
Next time.
Fine. Which of the participants will raise their hands? I cannot see them. Yes, Pavandeep. Yes, Pavandeep.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the fishermen are the symbolics of the hunters, which are all around the world. And if the fishermen would not hunt the whales, that means there would be no discrimination in the people about oppressed and suppressed classes.
There would be no suppressed class, and the whales, they would not be there at the point of extinction. And fishermen is already plural, Pavandeep, so you will say fishermen only, not fishermen. Okay. Next is what image does the poet create in these lines? What is the image? If you look at these 4 lines, from fishermen till hurt hands, what is the image that he's trying to create in these lines? Anybody from the class? Vishwajit, would you like to answer? What is the image?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat? What is the image?
What is the image that the poet tries to create in these lines?
Ma'am, he tries to say that the fishermen basically they try to means they hunt for their own benefit. Yes. And they are basically representing the hunters of whole of the world, and that they hunt the and that they are hunting, that they're hurting themselves by it's written that would like to hurt at would look at his hurt hands.
Yes. When they would look at their own hurt hands, then they would realize that how much pain they are causing to themselves in the process of trying to harm nature. Okay, so let's move on to the next stanza. Those who prepare green wars, we've discussed it. Let me ask a few questions. Who are those here? What are green wars? Wars with gas and wars with fire. What are these? Green wars, wars with gas and wars with fire. What are all these? Yes. Gurnoor. Yes, Gurnoor. Gurnoor. Gurnoor, you have raised your hand. Please answer. What do you mean by green wars? Wars with gas and wars with fire. Gurnoor, we are just waiting for you to reply. There are 3 students, Gurnoor and Pavandeep and Khushpreet, who have raised their hands. Gurnoor, just hold on then. Khushpreet, answer. Khushpreet. Yes, Khushpreet. Khushpreet. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
I
speak
mean,
up. Speak up, speak up.
refers to the exploitation. I mean, the green wars refers to the exploitation of the nature due to the gases, toxic gases, and fires or deforestation. Like,
Yes, it is a war against the environment and a war against, not only the war against nature, we are talking about using of chemical and nuclear weapons also. Okay, let's move on to the next stanza. Let us continue with the next stanza, wherein he says, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. We'll do 4 lines at a time. Okay, so he says whatever he is saying, whatever he is advocating, whatever he is urging the people to do, they should not confuse it with the inactivity. Okay, what is inactivity? What does inactivity mean here? Anybody who can answer? What does inactivity mean here? Yes, Alam. Alamjeet. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, inactivity refers to absolutely doing nothing.
Absolutely doing nothing, just being lazy and just whiling away
Yes,
your
ma'am.
time sitting.
Lethargic.
Yes, being lethargic
Lethargic and wasting your time.
yes. So this is what he says. He says whatever I'm advocating, I'm urging the people to be silent, but that doesn't mean that introspection doesn't mean that you be lazy and you don't do anything and you just remain passive. And the next line he says life is what it is about. What does he try to say in these lines? He wants to say that life is a continuous process. Okay, it is a dynamic process. It is not static. It is something which keeps on going on and on. It is an ongoing process. So that is why he says life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. What does he mean in these lines? I want no truck with death. He wants to say that people should just live their life peacefully, and they should have a simple life, and they should not make it complicated, and they should stop worrying about death. I want no truck with death means people should stop worrying about death, because as we all know, it is an inevitable part of our life. Death is going to come one time or the other. So it is an integral part of our lives. So therefore, we should not keep on worrying about it. We should just try to live our life peacefully. Okay, got it? Any questions which anybody wants to ask till this stanza? Anyone? Any question, or should I just continue with the next stanza? Abhishek Thakur has entered the waiting room now at this point of time. Okay, fine. Anything else which anybody wants to ask till this stanza? Till stanza 5. Should I just continue from here then?
Yes.
Okay. Then he says, if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So what is the approach of mankind? According to the poet, the approach of mankind is that he's just moving ahead. Okay, these days he's just in a kind of a mad race, and he's just trying to move ahead without bothering about the consequences, without bothering about the results of anything. We are having such a busy life, we don't have time for our own selves. Okay, in the name of so-called progress, we say that this is a progressive outlook that we are having, but in the name of so-called progress, what are we doing? We are having no rest, we are having no peace in our lives. Okay, so he says for once, for one moment at least, for some moments, we could just do nothing, perhaps a huge silence. Okay, he says in those moments of silence. Why huge silence? Because the silence is going to have a great impact on our lives. So that is why he says huge silence might interrupt this sadness. So why is there sadness? Sadness of never understanding ourselves. Why does he say so? The sadness is there because in the name of so-called progress, we are trying to gather materialistic things. We are trying to become materialistic, and emotionally the human beings have become bankrupt. So this results in emotional bankruptcy. This just running around and this just trying to be ahead of others, trying to outshine others, and trying to be in a kind of a rat race. What does this create? It creates sadness, and this sadness is that in which we are not able to even understand ourselves. So what we need, what is the need of the hour? The need of the hour is to introspect. The need of the hour is to understand ourselves first, and of threatening ourselves with death. So this threat is so much. It has brought upon us by our own actions only. Our unthoughtful actions, the actions which are just going on and on and on. What have they done? These actions, they have just wreaked havoc in the nature and in our own lives. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's discuss the questions. What is man single-minded upon? What is man single-minded about? Pavandeep, have you raised your hand? Yes, Pavandeep. Pavandeep,
Yes, ma'am.
just answer, Pavandeep. What is man
Ma'am, yes.
single-minded about?
Ma'am, here means that man is going to collect all the resources, but the men are not are not able to understand ourselves. We are not able to
Yes.
understand
So
ourselves.
what she wants to say is that here Pavandeep wants to say that we are just trying to gather all the resources. We are just trying to become materialistic, but we are not thinking about the results of our actions. These unthoughtful actions are just leading us nowhere in our lives. Okay, and what is this sadness of never understanding ourselves? What is this sadness of never understanding ourselves? Yes. What is this sadness of never understanding ourselves? Anybody from the class? Please raise your hand so that I can see. What is this sadness of never understanding ourselves? Again, the same students. Okay, yes, Harman Rana. Yes, Harman.
Yes, ma'am. The sadness is that we are never understanding ourselves and continue to threaten our lives with death.
We are
That's it.
continuously threatening our lives with death, and also we are in this, in this effort to gather materialistic wealth, we are emotionally becoming bankrupt. Okay.
Yes.
How has man threatened himself with death? I've just told you this. How has man threatened himself with death? Yes, Alamjeet, pick up.
My man has threatened himself with death because of his own selfish actions and
Yes.
activities
Yes, very good. Because of his own
that causes harm.
it causes harm not only to nature but to his own self, to the point of putting an end to his life. Next is perhaps the earth. The last 5 lines. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So he says we have a lot to learn from nature here. From nature we can learn, nature teaches us a lesson, and similarly the earth also teaches us a lesson. And what is the lesson that earth teaches us? It teaches us a lesson that on the surface everything might appear to be dormant, everything might appear to be lifeless. For example, in winter season we see that there is dormancy all around, but then with the oncoming of the spring season, the bustling life can be seen again. So this is the lesson that we learn from the earth, and the earth teaches us the lesson of resurrection. It teaches us the lesson of preservation of life. Okay, to preserve things and resurrection of life, these lessons can be learned from the earth. Life might appear to be on the surface, it might appear to be lifeless and still, but later we see that it is full of bustling life. So the cycle of life, it goes on and on and on endlessly. And then the concluding line, in the central idea, the theme of this, the message that the poet wants to give, and the theme is reverberating in the last two lines, wherein he says, now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. What does he want to say here is that he has already presented his philosophy. What is his philosophy? That we need moments of introspection in our lives. So he leaves the reader alone, and in order that the readers get time to introspect and experience this power which silence has. Silence has a lot of power. You know, you must have heard of that proverb, if speech is silver, silence is gold. Okay, so he says there's a lot of power in silence, so we need to introspect, and he's leaving his readers to do that only. Okay, and these last two lines again highlight the ardent desire of the poet for everybody to be quiet. He says, you be quiet, you introspect, and I'm going to leave you with your silence. So he's passed on his message, he has passed on his philosophy, his work is now over, so that is why he is leaving, he goes away. Okay, so that is all about this poem. Let us discuss certain questions related to the last stanza. What can the earth teach us? What is it that we can learn from the earth? Gurkamal. Yes, Gurkamal? Gurkamal, you raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The earth teaches us to be selflessly productive.
To be selfless, to be productive, and it teaches us the lesson of preservation, it teaches us the lesson of resurrection. Okay, and it teaches us the lesson that new life emerges from the ashes of the dead remains. So this is, you must have heard about Phoenix. It emerges from the ashes of its dead remains only, and this lesson we have learned from only the earth, from the earth only. What does everything seems dead imply? What does everything seems dead? What does it imply? Everything seems dead. What does it mean? Yes. Malvika. Malvika, can you answer?
Ma'am, everything seems dead means that at one moment of time on the earth, each and everything seems to be dead, but after some point of time, the same thing gets some life. For example,
yes,
like in winter season.
Yes, very good. You can give the example of the winter season. Okay. See, if the meeting by chance comes to an end because of some, if the electricity goes off, then I'll start it again. Okay. So, because right now I'm doing it through computer, and I'll do it through my phone. Okay. What does the poet mean to achieve by counting up to 12? What does he mean to achieve by counting up to 12? Yes. What does the poet mean to achieve by counting up to 12? Sapna. Yes, Sapna. Speak up. Sapna.
Poets want to say that now he is leaving. He wants to say that everyone should keep silence now. He wants to tell us the power of silence,
Yes,
and he
very
wants
good.
everybody to keep quiet. And so that is why he is saying that he wants to leave the poem now. He wants us
to leave the audience.
count.
He wants to leave the readers in and enjoy those moments of silence, the moments of introspection themselves. Okay, very good. Okay, fine. Let us discuss the textbook questions. Can anyone just read out the first question? Okay, let me just read it out. The first question is, what will counting up to 12 and keeping still help us achieve? What will counting up to 12 and keeping still help us achieve? Yes, what will counting up to 12 and keeping still help us achieve? Again, the same 5 students, Alam, Pushpreet, Malvika, Gurkamal, and Pavandeep. I want somebody else to answer now. Please, we have so many participants here. 47 participants or 47 participants are there in the meeting. Yes? Anybody else who can answer? Okay, Arya Jindal. Yes, Arya. Arya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am? Yes, ma'am. By doing so, we will do quite introspection fast. It will help us to start our activities in a better way.
Yes.
It would also help in creating a feeling of mutual understanding among each other.
Very good. It would help us in creating a feeling of mutual understanding of universal brotherhood among ourselves, and it would lead us to a state of peace and tranquility, wherein everybody can
Yes,
just enjoy the life in a better way. Okay, next. You think the poet advocates total inactivity and death? Raise your hand, students. You think the poet advocates total inactivity and death? Avandeep, Dukumar, Madhvika, Kushlit, Vishwajit. Same students every time. Yes. Okay, let me just ask somebody else. Simran Kaur. Simran Kaur, 17, roll number D2 section. Do you think the poet advocates total...
Ma'am, no, the poet.
Yes, speak up.
No, the poet does not advocate total inactivity. He just clarifies that he wants all the people to just stop for a while and analyze the activities and the consequences. And a human being should not support war and damage to the environment.
Yes, and he wants to say that what are the things that needs to be put to an end? Those are the violent activities, the destructive activities. They should be put on end. But that doesn't mean that we have to just keep our life at a standstill, because life is a dynamic, a continuous, and ongoing process. Okay. Next, what is the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem? What is the sadness? What is the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem? Yes, anybody from the class? I want to see your hands raised. What is the sadness? I have, yes. Pushpi, Dharmadana, Arya Jindal, Sapna, Alam, Vishwajit, Ramandeep. Somebody else should answer. Yes, Abhay. Abhay, pick up. What is the sadness that the poet refers to in the poem?
The poet refers to the sadness of failing understand ourselves.
Yes, very good.
And he also find
Speak up, speak up.
and he also find it sad that humanity is moving towards its own destruction.
Yes, humanity is moving towards its own dead end. We are putting our life towards, we are just taking our lives towards the dead end. So he wants that we should try and introspect in order to understand ourselves in a better way. Okay, ये गाने किसने चला दिया अभी? Please turn them off. Turn the music off. Okay. Next question is, what symbol from nature does the poet invoke to say that there can be life under apparent stillness? Yes. What is the symbol of from nature? What is the symbol from nature that the poet uses to say that there can be life under apparent stillness? Life under apparent stillness. Yes, Pushpi. Pushpi. Pushpi, speak up.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the poet invokes the symbol of earth as it teaches us that everything dead later proves to be alive.
Yes. So,
the earth never attains total inactivity, and the poet also wants to say that if the life seems if it seems that everything is lifeless, it again starts to live.
Yes.
It teaches a lesson of resurrection, that new life emerges from ashes of death.
Yes, resurrection. It is resurrection. New life emerges from the dead remains, from the ashes of the dead remains. So on the surface of it, it might appear that things are lifeless. On the surface of it, it might appear that there is stillness. But beneath it, we see that there is bustling life. And you can give the example of seasons also to elaborate this.